Hello and welcome to an very special episode of Just Chillin'. Episode number, I believe 49. I didn't look it up. I'm so excited. I just hit record and we're rolling. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Hoffman.
And I'm your other host, Andy Bell.
Andy's here. Andy's here.
No. Hello, buddy. I missed you. I missed you a great deal.
I missed you too, buddy. It's not the same without you here. I gotta say.
I don't know, man. It sounds good without me. I'll be honest with you. Thank you, Turbo.
Thank you, Turbo, for carrying it, because I did not realize how much when we have guests, how much I just sit in the back seat and just go for the ride. That was hard. That was a lot harder, but he made it a lot easier, but it's still like, oh shit, I gotta be the one to have the questions. Whew. I need Andy back.
Yeah. Should we get that out of the way first? Let's get the elephant out of the way. Let's address the elephant in the room first. So what's been going on? So thank you, Turbo, for literally sliding in the last minute to help us. You know, we love what we're doing as the team, and this silly little podcast that we're doing at the moment gives us an awful lot of joy. And I think that both of us want to try as best we can to come out to come out weekly. And as a result of that, that was not on the cards this time last week. This time last week. And Turbo graciously jumped in and covered my ass while I was messing about. So
while you were in Christmas Town.
While I was having a lot of fun and games, yeah. So I'm going to try and get over. I mean, I'll kind of lead with my news just to get it over and done with, because I don't want us to dwell on it. But as many of you guys, or more so, like many of you guys that know me a little bit closer, already know that I haven't been well. I've been talking about it on the pod for a couple of weeks now, that there's been some aches and pains and stuff going on for a good month or so, that I couldn't work out what was going on. Very, very quick whistle stop tour of what really has been going on. I've been suffering from a lot of aches and pains, which, you know, you could put down to old age, and really thought it was muscular. And it literally is. It really has only been in the last months, let's say 2 months, that this has happened. And it started with a muscular pain in my shoulder, but very, very quickly it started spreading down my spine into my hips, groin, and it didn't seem right at all. And so listen to your body, folks. And I went to the doctor. Did the right thing and asked the question, you know, is there anything wrong here? So they ran some tests, and there was a bunch of tests that they put me through that you'd expect them to put a man of a certain age through. So we're talking the nice stuff like colonoscopies and PSA tests, and what was the one down the throat? The one down the throat was the good one. It was called a colonoscopy. So they went in one end, and they went in the other end, and that is called, bear with me a second, folks, while we look up our medical knowledge here. It was called a gastroscopy. There you go. So the idea, basically what they're doing is they were checking the large intestine and the bowel, which is obviously a very, very prolific, or have very prolific problems with gentlemen of a certain age. The test came back. They came back okay. Everything was fine. However, I had some blood samples that came back that were abnormal. So in particular, very, very low hemoglobin, and very, very high iron, and it was just didn't make sense. At the same time, over this month period, what I could have done with it, while I was planning to get a little bit healthier, I also lost around about, in American money, I lost about 20 pounds, 22 pounds.
Dang.
In about a month, which is great. if that's what you're planning, but not so great if you weren't planning it, and then a heck of a lot of fatigue as well. So they started some more tests. As I said, the obvious cancer test came out, no problem at all, which again at the time was a relief. Went through a CT scan, and unfortunately the CT scan picked up, the pain got worse, and so I kind of ended up in A&E, or ER, sorry. And they accelerated the CT test, and as a result, they unfortunately found that I have kidney cancer. I've caught kidney cancer. It's of all of the abuse that I've given my body over the years. This is a cancer that's not related to anything that's anything to do with lifestyle. It's just one of those things. And in fact, it's happened very, very quickly because I'm a good boy. I have a medical checkup every year. In that medical checkup, that's every March. And so whatever's happened to my body has happened between March and essentially October, November of this year. So whatever's happened, it's happened quickly, which is bad in some ways, and it's aggressive, but it's good in some ways, and that they've also picked it up quickly, and it hasn't been allowed to, hopefully not been allowed to fester for too long. So they found that. Unfortunately, alongside that kidney cancer, they've also found secondaries. So unfortunately, it was the secondaries that we picked up first. So that pain I told you about in the shoulder, that was secondary. So the cancer has spread to my skeleton. It's in my spine. It's in my femur. It's in my shoulder, and unfortunately, there's a couple of traces as well in my lungs, which, quite frankly, they're not particularly worried about, because that seems like a normal working day for them that they can fix relatively quickly. Anyway, we're in this position at the moment where there's an awful lot going on. So I spent the last 2 weeks. I thought it was a week. I had no concept of time. I spent the last 2 weeks being prodded, and biopsies, more CT scans, MRI scans, scan. And it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. In that I ended up becoming a part of the discussion. When you go into them, when you have something like this, you speak to the professionals who are there to help you. And I have to say, I have the most amazing team looking after me that I get emotional when I think about the dedication and the care they put into my care in the last couple of weeks. And I got into an interesting conversation because we kind of found this out the wrong way around. As I said, what normally would happen is that you'd find the cause first, or there'd be a problem that you'd notice. But my kidneys were working fine. No problem at all. My liver's working fine. My kidneys working fine. Everything is working absolutely fine in terms of its function. So they didn't pick that up. And so the only thing that got picked up was the secondaries. And because of that, timing is now of the essence. So I ended up in a conversation where I actually became part of the decision of what my treatment would be. And what's happening is that, so if you imagine in a normal situation, you would identify the cancer, you would then identify the secondaries, and the secondaries they would establish whether they need to be treated first if they're going to cause a problem to the cancer treatment itself. And because my secondaries are in my bones are now very fragile. So I need to be very, very careful in that I don't break anything. And what they wanted to do originally, I had two doctors. I basically had two specialists, one bone doctor, one cancer doctor. The bone doctor wanted initially to basically pin my hips, pin my spine, pin everything that would demonstrate a risk if I fell over, because it would be bad. It would be bad if I fell over at this moment in time. And then treat the main the main cancer. The challenge they've got is that they don't have time, because what happens is when you go through that process of having your skeleton stabilized, it takes about 2 or 3 months to recover from that prior to them being able to treat the cancer itself. And so what we've done, so the cancer surgeon naturally wants to deal with that first, because what she doesn't want to do is that she doesn't want to run the risk of waiting 3 months for my skeleton to stabilize, only to find out it's spread even more and it's gone even more. So we got to this interesting point where I felt part of the decision-making process in terms of what do we do? And so we came to the conclusion, and we came to an agreement that we're going to treat the cancer first. So we're going to treat the cancer. I have got to wrap myself up in cotton wool, and I'll explain a few precaution measures they've made there, for 3 months, so that I can go through the actual cancer treatment itself. And then we'll deal with the damage that the secondaries have made. So and this all happened in the first week, and again, I thought it happened in a couple of days, mate, but it didn't. This all happened in the first week. And there was a funny side to this, mainly because I was high most of the time. I lost all concept of time. The treatment we're on at the moment is I am now home, which is fantastic. And it's a new way of treating. So every 28 days I go in as an outpatient, and I get connected to a drip, and it's a kind of I'm trying to remember the terms. It's kind of a treatment that is basically right. Guys, this is extremely bad editing. Let's go on pause. I'm going to find the name of it. I'm going to go right back. Let's put it on pause. 2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds. Okay, sorry about that, guys. It's immunotherapy. I keep forgetting. I've had so many. There are so many different terms I've had to try and learn over the last couple of weeks. So basically, what happens is every 28 days I have immunotherapy. It's a little bit like chemotherapy. It's quite young. It's only 3 or 4 years old. But essentially, it's attacking in the case. It's the core process that attacks the cancer. Meanwhile, I also have daily treatment, which is now what I can do at home. So I learned in the second week, I learned how to treat myself at home. And basically what that means, it's basically a 4-hour fast, whereby I go through a series of pills and treatments that it's all oral, but it's over this 4-hour fasting period. And that basically is what they call, oh God, that's another term, but I do know this one, TKI. It's called TKI. And what that does is that trains the body to attack everything. It's basically, in the old days of treating cancer, they used to, without sounding like a butcher or callous, they used to cut it out, give you some radiotherapy, and then treat you with chemo. Whereas what they do now is they use the body itself to kind of train your antibodies and train your body to detect it, isolate it, and basically shrink the cancer as well. It's a lot less invasive, and it's a lot more successful, from my understanding, with a lot less remaining damage to the body. Because of course, the whole treatment itself is a risk, let alone the cancer itself. And so that's what I'm on at the moment, which is fun, because it means I can't drink or eat anything for 4 hours, which, to be honest with you, will probably stay with me for the rest of my life now. That's the sobering. The sobering part of it is that because of where I am, I will live with this for the rest of my life now. But it's the way it was put to me is that, and this is where, if I want to be sad about it, it's horrible to know this is not curable, and you see it in writing. This is not what you've got is not curable, but it's treatable and manageable in the same way that diabetes is managed.
Yeah.
It can be managed that way. So, there are no guarantees, but the odds are in my favor. I have an amazing team looking after me at the moment, and it's something that will become habit for as long as I can live. So that's kind of where we are. I want to let everyone know what was going on. I've had an amazing amount of people that I didn't expect reach out to me and wish me well, which I'm really, really grateful for, because, I'm still very much a newcomer to this community, and the outpouring of love has kind of really choked me up. It's been pretty amazing. And the people that have come forward and volunteered to help, regardless of where they are in the world, at the very least, just to kind of maintain the podcast, I'm really, really grateful. On the positive side of things, of this whole experience, there's been a funny side of this, which is while we were working out my drugs, my pain medication. Good God, I've been on some journeys. I have been on some.
You're joining the Spacing Guild.
Oh, dude, no idea. I have. Yeah, seriously, I was one with a racket. It was it's been so funny, and over time I'll share some stuff with you guys. I don't want to railroad the pod too much, but it's been hilarious, and some of the stuff that the first thing is that my family came. Obviously, I'm really grateful, but then my family came together, and were there and have been there for me, and have been they mustered together so bloody quickly, and so how can I put this efficiently? It sounds awful, but it was like, okay, we're going to deal with this shit so positively.
They mobilized the fish.
Thank you. That was the word I was thinking of. Yeah, words are a struggle at the moment. Goddamn morphine. Anyway, the point being is it's just been so funny, because these guys have got everything structured and everything. Meanwhile, my brain's out. My brain's out to pasture at the moment, or at that time, while we're trying to work out these drugs. And I'm all over the place, and I just find pretty much everything that is serious extremely funny. And it was just weird in every way. And it was like, I felt as if I was a spectator to something that was, I don't know. I thought I was living in Megalopolis. It was exactly. It was something out, man. And then on the more philosophical side, good God, it's been in a very, and I hope this doesn't sound perverse, but it's been so goddamn liberating. The whole experience has been so liberating. It's amazing just how unimportant so much stuff is. And and I have an amazingly loving family that I don't think any of us appreciate in our daily lives, because it's life. Life gets in the way. I have an amazing network of friends that I am grateful for. I have a great company that I work for. They're all basically taking everything away, and the sheer. I'm trying to explain it to you today, because you and I I've been trying to catch you every now and again, while I've been in hospital tripping my tits off, and every now and again I kind of trying to explain to you the other day what it feels like, and it's kind of like telling it. It's so when life when life's challenges, or when chores, or when work, or when stuff that makes up life is taken away from you, there's nothing there. It gives you so much space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, and I was trying to explain it to you the other day, and I still don't know how to explain it very well, but the notion of having nothing to worry about, which is, it's like, Andy, what the hell are you talking about? You've caught cancer, but everything is taken away from you. Even when you go on the best holiday you've ever had, the most luxurious holiday you've ever had, there is an ending to that. There is a finite, you're relaxing for a finite period.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the holiday is over and you go back to work, or there are chores to do around the house, and bills need to be paid and the rest of it. When all of that is taken away from you, good God, it is liberating. And it's like, we say things like, I never have the time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm a great, how can I put this? I'm one of those people that you say, I never had the time to get around to do this, never had the time to get around to do that. And in this case, it's not a case of time, it's space.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much space. And the sad thing about it is that it took something like cancer to experience that. Had I not had cancer, I probably never would experience something like this. I guess retirement would be the closest to it. But it's not so much the actual act of having life being organized for you, or chores, or again, the stuff that makes up our existence. It's not so much having the actual physical process of having that removed. It's the experience of having it removed.
Yeah.
And there's just so much space where it's just like, wow, I almost wish everyone could experience this, because it does make you think, really? There is so much more.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much more. I can't explain myself very well at all. I'm really sorry for that. Again, I do have quite the concoction of medication that I'm going through at the moment. So, hey, you're experiencing it firsthand. But yeah, it's a bastard. It's an absolute bastard. This came out of nowhere. It's all happened within 1 or 2 months, out of nowhere. Didn't see this coming one bit. But out of it has come some very, very positive experiences as well.
Some profound revelations.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't sound weird, man. I really do.
Yeah, no. Cause we talked about it the other day, and I think, like, obviously, I'm not experiencing it, but the way you described it it makes sense. It does. Like, it's kind of like a weight lifting off your shoulders.
Yeah.
A little bit. And
Yeah. And
it's a change perspective.
Yeah. Especially when you have no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, typically, if you're in a situation where, you have no choice, it can be quite stifling. It can be quite suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in control. But in this case, it's decisions are made for me. Everything's been made for me, and as a result of that, like I said, it's very cathartic. It's liberating. It's absolutely liberating. Anyway, that's where I am, mate. Thank you to so many people that have reached out. I mean, I was going to wait until I was going to get to the listening section, but big shout out in particular to Scruffy's, the team over at High Potion, Star Wars Spelt Out guys, and the Sith List. Thank you very much, all of you, for thinking of me, and for the different ways in which you've all reached out to me to say thank you. Say thank you. I'm saying thank you. All of you that have reached out to me to wish me well, and I love you guys. And I again, I'm still this very, very small minnow in this very, very large pond, and I couldn't be more grateful for for you guys and your friendship. So that's where I am, mate. And it's and we're gonna get through it as best we can.
Oh yeah.
And it will give me an opportunity to kind of, I don't know. I guess it depends on your point of view, but it's been very, very easy to crawl up in a ball, and let this and ride this out. But I in particular was very keen to A, talk about it, B, but also to make sure that I got back to podcasting as soon as I can. Because again, I love this rinky-dink bullshit. I love chatting with you. It doesn't feel like a podcast. It feels like a weekly catch-up with you and with friends as well. Yeah. So I was really keen to get back. And quite frankly, as far as my medical team are concerned, something like this, really good for the mind grapes. Really, really good for the mind grapes.
Keep your head on straight. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So talking about shit that we love and that we've been watching, I'm really glad to be back. Really, really glad to be back.
I'm happy to have you back, dude. It's fucking awesome. Like it's just a whole different vibe getting to see you. And I mean, I've been able to chat with you for the last couple of weeks, but not on video call and all that stuff. So this is good. This is good to see you again. I do have to take a second and shout out. I know you kind of mentioned it, but I think I want to pile on there a little bit and be like, you have a pretty amazing team at home that's kicking ass and taking names. Like they're not letting you get away with shit, and they're also like the most supportive group. Big shout out to them. They're you got a good team there.
Lucy and the kids were really set up just let you guys know. Lucy and the kids set up a little chat with one or two of my closest buddies, and we're keeping everyone updated as to what was going on and at the right time until I was in a position to be able to know which way was up, which was probably when they dialed down the morphine a little bit. A little bit.
He could be trusted to communicate on his own again.
Yeah, I can. Well, at the time, man, no one knew what was going on. We had no idea what was going on. We had no idea how they'd address it. We kind of, is it this? Is it that? Is it? No idea. It was weird. It was really, really weird. And we're out the other side now, and we know what the plan is. We've got a plan. We've got a good team. I'm not going to spend too long on it because I'll be honest with you. This is going to be my life forever and a day now. So there's no point harping on about it. It's the way it is. So, dude, how have you? That has been my fortnight. A little bit boring.
What?
But nonetheless, I had a fortnight.
About to say, your definition of boring and my definition of boring are quite different. But I've been all right. I have no complaints. I've been obviously thinking of you guys, hanging out, waiting to. I'm happy to have you back. Like it's been a whirlwind of a couple weeks, but outside of all that, man, just it's been we've been getting snow, keeping the driveway clear, situation normal. I've been baking some candy. I came up with a new one this year that I'm quite proud of. It's a lavender salted caramel that I'm pretty happy with. I told Madison I think I'm going to apply for the Nobel Peace Prize because it's pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Some of those. I mean, you sent me photographs. We sent each other photographs several times. But some of those trays that you were showing me, that you guys have been, or you've been baking up, look absolutely delish.
Thank you,
absolutely delicious. So what else have you been up to?
I'll clearly watching some stuff. Watching some shows. I managed to Chris and I managed to wrangle Ed up, and we were able to record a crafting podcast, which I'm sure people have or have not seen come across the feed, but that was a good time, good old fun. Been doing a lot of the Christmas holiday stuff, a lot of wrapping of presents, a lot of kind of just generally coordinating things. I obviously we're remote from my family, so it's a lot of like getting packages and like sorting all that out, wrapping them, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah.
I heard the Just Craft. I mean, it's really weird because normally, you know how all the podcasts land on different days and it kind of fills a week.
Yeah.
Because I have listened to very few podcasts multiple times because I keep forgetting them because I've been stoned all the time. Because I've been off a rocker. I think I listened to Just Crafting about 3 or 4 times. All I can say is when it actually landed, good episode, guys. Really, really good. Really enjoyed that.
I know we're thinking we may try to do another one before the next major holiday. Like,
oh wow,
maybe
Easter.
maybe not. Yeah, maybe not do one once every 4 months. But we joke, we tease, we jest. But no, it's a good old time. Like,
and I know
you're in on those chats too. So like you kind of see a lot of it outside of it's not getting recorded.
I'm on your chats trying to organize the whole thing, and I think it's hilarious. What I find hilarious is this amazing amount of ambition the three of you have. But typically it's down to Ed to kind of should we say pull his finger out of his ass and kind of take together, Ed. But on the night it's always a good show. It's really, really good. And again, the app you have with Turbo, I'd have loved to have been there. But it was beautiful. It was great that it complemented the work we've the sessions we've already had with Josh and Catherine. It was brilliant to have the Trinity, shall we say, which is great. So that was awesome, and it was done really, really, really well.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Outside of that, dude, like there's not. It's mid-December. It's kind of like vibing.
What about
hanging
news?
Out.
What about news? I've got 2 weeks worth of news here that I've been picking up again, mid-delirium. I've been picking up. I've got 2 weeks worth of news, of which I'm not sure if we've covered.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay. So, we talked about it a lot. 28 years later, a sequel to the sequel of 28 Days Later. So 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 years later. There's a trailer out there. I saw that, which is good. I think I saw the Superman teaser trailer, but I'm not sure. It's about a 30.
I've been seeing some leaks of stuff, like just kind of pictures and stuff like that. I feel like there's been a bunch of stuff that James Gunn's been putting out.
Well, I've been watching. Yeah, I keep catching these links saying Superman teaser trailer, and then I click through. There's a teaser trailer of what I think is the teaser trailer, not the actual teaser trailer. I can't work it out. Anyway, that I picked up, but I just wrote that down. Jeremy Allen cast as Jabba the Hutt's son in the Mando movie. I know there's a lot of folks that have talked about that. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest with you. I mean, I must admit, at this moment in time, Mando perhaps, and I think I've said this before, Mando being the kind of the genesis or the genesis of modern day Star Wars TV, unfortunately isn't in my wheelhouse at the moment. But there seems to be an awful lot of either excitement around this casting. I'm assuming it's he'll play Stinky, the one that Jabba's son from the original Clone Wars movie. I believe he's grown up now and a big boy. But okay, it's a casting decision. I don't know what it means to the story. Seems a bit fan. Bearing in mind the experience that I'm having at the moment with Skeleton Crew and the masterpiece that I think is Skeleton Crew, and we'll talk about that in a second, because I've been itching to talk to you about it because I'm loving it. going back to the Mandiverse with a bit of fan casting, great, great, I'll take it, but it doesn't particularly excite me. Warhammer, one for Ed, one for you, Ed. Warhammer series officially announced with Henry. Is it Cavill or Cavill? Okay, anyway, with Henry, in development at Amazon. That's good. That's good. Mate, it also gives some not some kudos, but I like Henry, and
he seems like a good one.
I think they did him dirty on a few things, Witcher and Superman, obviously, being two examples, and so he's kind of getting what he wants, which I think is good. What else is in the news? I've got a thank you turbo here, which I've done to death. Tom Chansky, King Tom himself. Literally, 2 hours ago, tipped me off that there's a secret mission that's been found in Outlaws. So the Outlaw DLC came out a few weeks ago, and I kind of gave you my view, which is great. It was great. It was a mission. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it's DLC. It didn't really expand on the galaxy. I don't have any details apart from this tidbit that Tom gave me earlier on, that there seems to be a secret mission. Well, I've been itching. Well, I haven't been here, so it doesn't mean that's much of a problem. But I've been itching to get back into Outlaws again. But of course, there's nothing, unless I want to be a completionist, there's nothing really for me to do. So finding out about this is great. So that's in my excuse me, guys. That's in my news for this week. And then also, as part of my little trip down in hospital, etc., I made a few impulse buys. Typically, when I was I made some impulse buys. Typically, while I was actually in
this reminds me, I just have to jump in real quick and say this brings me great joy, because I remember there was a time when I bought something maybe a little intoxicated, and man, I got razzed for it up and down the block. And so the fact that you were maybe under the influence at the hospital buying dollies and stuff, that just brings me great joy.
Exactly what I was doing. The first thing I was doing, I haven't bought a Funko in forever, and in fact, I ended up ditching a lot of my Funkos. In fact, I gave a lot of them away. Gave a lot of them away to charity. So I got this. Funko are doing this. Is it Biddy Pop line at the moment of Funko Pops, which are basically tiny, weeny little. They're about what is that? I don't know, half an inch style models, and of course they decided to do some vehicles with them as well. So they had the Falcon and they have a Chewbacca. So I bought that to sit alongside my bunch of grapes and my Lucozade that was on my bedside table in hospital. So I bought that to entertain me and
looks like a little gachapon, like a little Japanese gachapon machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Toy, like that size.
It was something to entertain a 50-plus-year-old man sitting in his bed, off his tits on medication, swooshing his little Millennium Falcon around.
I was a little bummed that I wasn't able. Not that I'm bummed that you're out of the hospital, but I am bummed that I didn't have enough time to send you some Greeblies to start secretly gluing the machines in the hospital, make everything look a little more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Some acid wash and some other stuff started just.
Yeah, I think the girls that the girls try to do that. They bought lots of. I mean, Abby in particular. It's really funny. Each of our family deal with a situation like this in a different way. You've got Lucy that obviously matriarch, brings everyone together, orchestrates something. You've got someone like Chloe, my eldest, who's very sensible. She's the organizer. She's already working out she's my dietitian now. She's already working out what it should be into, what should be into, physical routine and everything. She's very, very practical. My youngest, in the meantime, is very much like myself, which is, hey, shit, you're poorly. Let's do something. So she'll end up buying things like, right, okay, practically speaking, you need Lego. or you need. She's been the one that's if you like bringing in the entertainment. And one thing she did do, which I mate, you're gonna kill me. I still haven't set it up. Is she very kindly, very very kindly, and it was out of the blue. She thought that I'm going to be sat on my backside, and I'm going to be in and out of hospital for quite a while, which I am. And she got me I have no longer. I don't know if any of you guys remember a while ago. We had Hawes and Steve on from the great High Potion podcast, where I was in a dilemma as to what handheld device I should buy, and I still haven't made a decision until now. That decision has been made for me, and that my daughter has bought me a Steam Deck, Steam Deck, and I have on there all of the Steam games I currently have, which is a very very small library, and none of them work because I still haven't set it up properly. The reason why I haven't set it up properly is because the Wi-Fi in the hospital was not the best. And on top of that, I also had, I tried to tether with 5G and it just isn't working. So tonight's objective, because we have a quiet evening this evening, is to get this bad boy working, because I've already got a few people, Halls included, as friends on Steam. I've got my account set up now. I've got everything done. But for some reason, trying to finish this registration or finish up the initial boot up of the device configuration still hasn't happened yet. But yeah, that was Abby's contribution to the to my well-being and getting better, and I love her for it, because it's more than generous. Then I ended up there's something else I've got to show you. I've told you about it, but I've got to show you. Then I've been watching Skeleton Crew to death. And I'm not talking about watching an episode and then I'll rewatch it for references so that we can talk about it in the pod. I've been watching it because of the way it makes me feel, which we will go into later on. But anyway, the point being is that I gave up collecting Black Series ages ago, he says. And
I'm not a collector. Quoted by Andy.
No, I'm not a collector. What I am though, in the spirit of Mr. Chris Hall, is that I am now a space pirate. I'm a space pirate guy now. That's my thing. And I fell in love with Captain Brutus. So I found I bought and had shipped to me the Captain Brutus Black Series, which I have to say, it's been quite a while since I bought a Black Series. This thing is awesome.
Yeah, the quality is pretty top notch.
Quite seriously, it's absolutely amazing. The paint apps, all of that kind of geeky stuff that we love. I mean, the paint apps, the sculpts, it's absolutely awesome. I mean, you can't see it in this light, but yeah, he's a bad boy and got plenty of guns too, which is great. Pew pew. Anyway, so I've been playing with him a lot as well. In fact, I've turned into a bit of a Catherine Nane, and he follows me everywhere in my pocket.
Yeah, so he's almost like a Wookiee, so he's kind of got the same vibe that you like.
Well, do you know what? In my OCD head, what I was thinking was actually he goes really well with that holiday Halloween Wookiee. You know, the one that was the werewolf. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it makes sense to get it. But no, he's awesome, and I do. If any of you are thinking about it, I recommend you get it, because for what you get, for what is it, $24.99, or over in the States I think it's $29.99. Point being is he's a heck of a boy. So I bought him, and then I'm kind of ruining the consumption part, but graphic novels.
It's all the same. We're all in here together.
It's all the same. Doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. New perspective of life and everything. Nobody puts baby in the corner. No. Anyway, I brought graphic novels. I've been burning through a few graphic novels as well, because Wi-Fi has not been so great in the hospital. I've been burning through. So there's another Firefly one here, and I've got a couple of others that are up there as well that either I bought or the kids very kindly bought for me. And yeah, really, really cool. There is one thing that I told you about a while ago, because this is our last episode before Christmas.
Yes.
I had bought you something. Bear with me a second while I just try and straighten my back out a little bit. It's not part of my it's not part of my impulse purchasing, but I wanted to show you. So you are an extremely hard working developer, and I imagine, and you have, should we say, expressed your frustration sometime recently, especially recently, with the work that you do.
Yeah.
And so in your rescue package that that I have building up, all the stuff that I'm going to be bringing with me to Tokyo, heckle wedding, all the stuff I'm going to bring to Tokyo that you already know about, I've added to it a gigantic,
oh my God,
enter key.
Oh my God.
So this is essentially a stress relief enter key that you, with USB, you plug into the side of your PC, and it acts like an enter key.
Is it squishy?
But it's squishy.
Oh my God, I love it.
But also, it's squishy. Let me sit.
I can hear it clicking.
Yeah. So it's squishy. So essentially, think of it as a stress ball, but it's an interactive stress ball in that you can plug it in and it becomes your enter key. So
That's
going forward,
awesome.
you get frustrated, you get angry, you send the email, you hit enter, away you go. So that's also coming in the rest.
For context, that thing is the size of Andy's head. It is. It is massive. That is awesome. I am shocked. Not shocked, but it's like that is.
I never knew I needed one.
I never knew I needed that. That's it takes me back to an idea. Like, are you familiar with the term overclocking your computer? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
I was proposed. I did this back in college. I proposed an idea to one of my professors. I'm like, what if, you can overclock your computer. People like, they say like punch like you hit a TV like an old bunny ears and you hit devices to like make them work better. Like, what if you could build something into a computer that like when you kick it or punch it, it temporarily overclocks your machine to make it like you're motivating. It's like, oh, it's the pinwheel. Like you hit it, it overclocks the PC to kind of just get it through it. I don't think it's relevant as much anymore, but it was a fun idea. And that's what that reminds me of like, it's just the frustration, but it still has a purpose, form and function.
Oh, it absolutely has got a purpose. Right. So that's my news now. We need to, unfortunately, I have my fasting in coming up in the next hour. So I'm going to have to, if you don't mind, guys, I'm going to have to accelerate a little bit. I want to know what you've been. I want to know what you've been. Let's leave Scout and Creep through to the end. But I want to know what you've been consuming. So what have you been watching, listening, reading, and playing in the last week?
I've been playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Nice.
And I've been enjoying it. It is. Yeah, I think I am enjoying Outlaws more. Obviously, I've been playing Indiana Jones more. I think it gets you into it quicker. I think that's my difference between the two.
It doesn't. It's a different game. It's a fundamentally different. It's a different type of game. It's it's not a. It's a mission based. Not a mission based. You're playing a story.
Yeah.
So
I've been enjoying it. I've been playing that a lot. So
nice.
That's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Thank you to those who helped me get a copy of that. That's been very, very, it's been very, very nice. Besides that, I don't think I've been playing anything else. What have I been consuming? A lot of candy. That's what I've been consuming.
Excellent.
Yeah, I gotta taste it. I do have a funny, so I'll keep it very brief. So
no, it's not that kind of picture. It's just unfortunately when the alarm goes, I've got to.
No. I'll keep it brief because it's not that funny. It's just more of a tip. So one of the things that I've been experimenting with this year is making different types of candy, including ones that are legal here but not legal everywhere else. So
Okay.
that my tip is when you do that, if you do that, especially when making hot candy, which is in the 200, 300 degree temperature range, when you mix it together, don't have your face over the top.
Nah. Oh,
Because
don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. Oh, no way.
So, because it will some of it will flash off into steam.
Yeah.
I lost a whole day. A whole day was just gone.
Excellent.
Excellent. When you have more time, I'll tell you, I'm kind of laughing just thinking about, like, I went up and told Madison, like, I think I'm done. Because I did it in the morning and I was like, this is not going to be a good time.
That is so funny.
So be careful of that. That's my tip. Other than that, dude, we've been watching just, I've never really watched the Rankin and Bass Christmas special, like the claymation stop motion. Like I've seen them, but I've never watched the beginning to end. So we've been watching some of those, and it's it is. Those are so funny. Just how unhinged and just there is.
Do you know what? I was going to say, if anyone was experimenting back in the 70s and 80s, it was those guys.
Oh my gosh, that's like what is the most important piece? It's like it's not story, it's not plot, it's not character development. It's like, well, we need to get this. So it's almost like it just reminds me of work. It's like, okay, we wrote this really fast, catchy song, and then they hand it to the animators, and the animators like, no, we're not doing that. So they just make everybody just kind of jerk around for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it goes back to normal. It's it's crazy. Those are fun. Muppet Christmas Carol is on my upcoming my watch list. Not yet. I need to watch it, especially since I see other people are watching it. And I apologize if I've gotten into arguments with anybody's small children about the importance of the sad song in the middle. You know, I'm quite passionate about that.
It wasn't until we spoke about it on Discord and you dive in, Dave dives in. I didn't know. I had no idea this was a thing. I had no idea at all. But I do respect your opinion as my friend, and I do understand the importance of that. And so, quite frankly, you know, you getting into arguments with young children about how important it is, I think it's valid. I really do.
You're never too young to know the importance of character development and the overall arc within a story.
No, could do better.
But other than that, man, I've been watching Skeleton Crew. Like
Come on, let's get on.
Oh my God! No, you. Quick. I want to hear what you have to say first.
Right. So I finished I watched Civil War.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Civil War. You'd seen Civil War a while ago, hadn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say a few days before I got whisked away, I'd watched Civil War. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really good film. Really, really good film. Scarily relevant, I guess, in many ways. It's all that. And then the only other film I've seen is oh no, that's not quite true. The first film I saw when we got back in. So as you know, I started my treatment 5 days ago, and then I came home. I was allowed to leave 2 days ago. So I came home 2 days ago, and I sat, and Lucy and the kids had turned the house into Santa's grotto. I mean, I'm in a quiet spare room at the moment, so you can't see it, but the rest of the house downstairs is like Santa's grotto. They went completely overboard with as many decorations as they possibly could, and then said, "Do we need more?" Yes, we do. Yes. Because of cancer, let's just get more. Let's get more Christmas decks, and so it's crazy.
Kill it with kindness. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really funny because I was meant to be on holiday now anyway, so I should have been on holiday. It was my annual leave. I hadn't used up all my annual leave before the end of the year. I've carried over the holiday that I'm using for Tokyo already, so I've already got that locked for next year. I've got holiday that I will lose had I not used it. So I should have been on holiday now at the moment. That typically happens every year. I've got spare at the end of the year, got to use it. I should have been on holiday at the moment, at which point I start getting Christmassy. I start feeling Christmassy. I start getting into the spirit of it. I'm Lucy and the kids now are still working, and they run. I do a lot of running around for them. Oh, we've forgotten this. We've forgotten that. Let's get this. I do all of that and feel generally switch off from work and generally get into the Christmas spirit. Clearly, this year I wasn't able to do that. So when we left, when we were leaving, it was kind of like we left on the 17th of December. It was like, holy shit. Oh, sorry, we came back on the 17th of December, and I'm thinking, holy shit, it's Christmas next week. It's next week is Christmas. I haven't experienced anything. So the first thing we did, what did we do? We booted up Disney Plus and we watched Muppets Christmas Carol. Boom! I'm there. Boom! Instant gratification. Instant Christmas gratification. So yeah,
like time travel to like right into the middle of Christmas spirit.
Yeah. I don't feel as if I've missed out on anything now because I'm neck deep in Christmas spirit. So that was the before and after. I'm still watching Shrinking. I watched a couple of episodes of Shrinking season 2, Silo season 2, and obviously June Prophecy. But again, Wi-Fi in the I was about to say hotel. I wish. In the hospital was not great, and so I've got some catching up to do there, which is fine because I ain't going anywhere. As I said, listening to all of you guys, in particular, there's the prediction show I recommend from the Scruffies, which was again came out with a lot of hilarity as to what they're predicting for Skeleton Crew. High Potion, Spelt Out, Sitless, so on and so forth. And then playing should have been a Steam Deck. In fact, one of the games I've got is Squadrons, because you were talking a while ago about how Outlaws made you want to play Squadrons, and in doing and getting the Steam Deck, that wanted to make me play Squadrons as well. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to, but that's what let's say future playing once we've got this whole thing fixed.
You've been playing the setup screen.
Say again, sorry?
You've been playing the setup screen.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah,
running out of lives on that one, but
yeah. One thing I have watched over and over and over again, because despite the Wi-Fi not being so great, I did a clever thing, and when I did get good Wi-Fi, I downloaded it and store it on my gigantic phone. One thing that I did do was watch Skeleton Crew all the way through. So I had all, including, well, today didn't really count because I'm already at home. But the first 3 episodes for sure went down a treat over and over and over again. So we spoke about the first 2 episodes. You spoke about episode 3 with Turbo beautifully. You guys covered it beautifully last week. Where's your head at? What do you think of episode 4? And where's your head at on the series 4 episodes in? Because I skipped a week with you.
Dude, well, do you want to talk about what you thought of episode 3 first? Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant fun. I thought it was great. I was surprised that we were still hanging around. Do you understand what I mean? Because we've only got. I'm surprised that we're. I guess for me, it's going to see his owl mate, his buddy that was an owl, was needed, and in fact, the mistake or the assumption took them to obviously what we saw in episode 4 being the wrong planet. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it introduced. I'm just loving it, man. It doesn't need to be it's not complicated. It's really simple for a brain like mine. It hits all of the right notes and the right tones for me. Abby and I were revisiting it today because we're loving it so much. And one of the things that Abby said, which I totally agree with, and it sounds really strange. It sounds really basic, like the her. but the kids sound like kids.
Mm.
They don't sound like space kids, which is which is kind of where, in my mind, Star Wars tries too hard.
Yeah.
So, too hard to be outer worldly. No, kids are kids. Kids are kids are kids are kids.
Yeah.
You listen to, I can't be careful laughing because I'm Chester. But you listen to Neil describing the ship. When episode 2, for example, when they go back and he describes it, it kind of smells.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that, and it's the most simple of writing, and the most true of writing, but it just lands. And the way I'm feeling about it at the moment is the same way that I feel about Andor, and you guys are sick of this, I'm sure of it. I see Andor as a really, really good drama that just happens to be set in Star Wars universe. I am finding Skeleton Crew to be a really, really good adventure. It just so happens to be in Star Wars universe. Could be in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, there's many takes, tones, and whatever you want to call it that remind me of Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, especially in episode 3 when they're escaping. Is it episode 3 when they escape?
Yeah.
No, end of episode 2.
Oh, it's episode 2. Yeah.
When they escape the pirate enclave and Jude's gone to go and pick up SM-33, and he's on his way back to the ship, and you've got all of these pirates that are chasing him, and they're actually shooting blasters outside of these ships. It's very, very, for me, Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, and I love it. The subject matter, the environment, or the positioning doesn't really matter. It's the story.
Yeah.
And I love it. And again, it just so happens to be in the Star Wars universe, for which I am really grateful. I think that we've been really spoiled in that we get good stuff like this.
I could not agree more. I've never had, I think this is 10 out of 10 for me. I am loving this show. I do think I'm having, as I continue to watch it, I think I've had a bit of a cathartic kind of transformative experience with it. I think I was in the middle of that when I did my last immediate review with Hawes, and if anybody listened to that, they could probably hear me going through it, struggling mentally, just trying to process this latest episode of being I've had such not a hard time, but it's been so hard to let go of the years of every show needing just building on top of previous shows, and you have to be on the inside, and you have to know, to truly get it, you have to have watched all this back stuff, and season 4 Clone Wars, and this, and this, and this, and
100%.
You have to be on the inside, and this, it's just been so nice to just kind of similar to what you're talking about earlier, it's I can just let go and just enjoy it, and for what it is and what it is giving me, and I don't have to constantly be how's this connected? How's this connected? How's this connected? And, or
100%.
This 4th episode just being it took me halfway through the episode. I mean, it was a bit of a fever dream of an episode at times. I still stand by that, but it's good. I love it. But it took me about halfway through the first watch to be oh my God, is it time travel? Are they clones? Are these going to be kid clones? Is it the same planet? Did they go back in time and it's actually forward in time and it's actually devastated now? Then all of a sudden I just had this realization of what the fuck am I doing? Dude, do I hear myself now? What monster have I created? That I'm so I enjoy speculation. I love it. You know this. I love going down the rabbit hole and being the droid Gatra is in charge of the planet, and it's all droids and the humans are slaves on that. Yay. That's fun to me. I think this is hilarious, and because I'm always wrong. But this concept of sitting and watching a show and getting in my own head to the point where I'm half watching, half thinking about how it's connected. That's not fun. Why did I become this way? And the fact that I'm able to let that go and to just enjoy it is great to me.
Yeah, you 100%. And I don't have any answers for you, but I would suggest that that's the way that we've been conditioned to be. And it's not, and that's certainly not on Lucasfilm. That's certainly not on. That's certainly not on the Star Wars team. That's certainly not on the content that we've been given. That's on us.
No, yeah.
That's on us, and we've conditioned ourselves to be almost consistent, almost permanently on the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
We're always on the defensive at the moment, and it's kind of like because of, you know, either the discord that's going on within the community has galvanized us somehow into and making sure that we were able to defend the franchise and the subject matter that we love, that we defend it vehemently without any kind of thought or rhyme or reason, when really we've said it over and over again, we don't really demonstrate the reality, which is, if you don't like it, then watch it.
Yeah.
And it's okay not to like something and to love something else. It's okay to cherry pick, you know, what you like, what you don't like, and embrace what you like, and, you know, reinvent almost in your head canon what you don't. It's like we don't. There's so much intensity. There's been so much intensity on this, and you know, on. I want to call it sides. I don't want to call it sides. I want. It's. Yeah. I've seen the worst of people, or experienced the worst of people from both sides. And what I mean by that is that people that love it and people that hate it, I've seen the worst of behavior to each other, to our fellow men, on both sides of the argument. And naively, I kind of thought I was on the side of right. Do you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like on the side of right. When really, I don't fucking care. Really, if I'm thinking about it, I really don't care, and I choose to like what I like, and I like what I like here, and quite frankly, you know, if I didn't like it, I should feel comfortable in my own skin to say I didn't like it, but I'm really happy for you that you do like it, or
Each job liking what you like.
But exactly, but I do know what you mean. Even though, I mean, these are really, really well-meaning words, I do know what you mean, in that you still overanalyze it. It's not, the speculation stuff is awesome. I love the speculation stuff, but it's beyond that. I know what you mean. It's kind of beyond. When do we get to a point where it goes beyond speculation to a point where we're just, you know, hyper sensitive towards the fallout of how something like this is received. Sorry, man. That's again. Hey, it's been 2 weeks, so I had to get. No,
dude. That's awesome. I agree 100%. I think that's another way, like, a way of saying what I'm getting at. Like, I'm glad that somebody else is kind of like it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Because it's like, what? Like, when did we all start taking this so seriously?
Exactly. And we need to talk about episode 4, but, you know, when did we take ourselves so seriously? This has landed at exactly the right time. I was already excited.
Yeah.
The fact that it's landing at Christmas and it's a kid's film. And I prepared by watching Goonies. I prepared by watching Treasure Planet. Smart move, by the way, watching Treasure Planet before this came out. Ironic the parallels in that. But the point being is, you know, it's come out at just the right time for me. And good God, dude, that was before I went into hospital, where I had no idea what the hell was going on with me. Coming out the other side, it's almost like they made it for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah. No, I mean, even as for me, it's like it's hitting so well at Christmas. Like, I did not think of how well this would fit this season. It just feels right.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Episode 4. Can't even remember the name.
Woo! Episode 4. Holy moly! Uh,
Deep, right? Really
dude,
deep.
really deep, really, like, I'll be honest, like when I was in my first watch through, the first couple minutes, I'm like, wait, did they like publish the wrong episode? Did they publish episode
Yeah,
5? Because I'm like,
yeah.
what? How did we get here? But it's like, it's more of that kind of like editing, or like, we're not messing around with like the every second, like, here's how we got to here. It's like, no, we're here now.
You,
This is where we're going. And like, I'm appreciating that in Star Wars on its own. So like, it took me a minute to
you,
like get used to it. I'm like, whoa, we're here at this planet. No adults in the cockpit. Okay. Moving forward. Like, I'm cool. I really enjoyed the episode. It took
yeah,
me, the longer time goes by and the more I can sit with it and just kind of like release some of, not expectations, but like, the only way I can describe it is like, if I unpucker my butt for a minute, like the longer I have between that, like the more I enjoy it.
yeah,
Uh, it's like, just relax. And it was a fever dream though. It's like,
yeah.
what, like, I remember, so Madison hasn't been watching, but she was like, she's been in the area, like constantly walking in front of the TV and doing stuff, turning the lights off and on while I'm watching it. So she like, there's times where she'll look at me, she's like, what are you watching? Like, she's like, is this Star Wars? I'm like, I think it is. I'm
Yeah,
like laughing most of the time going, what is
yeah,
happening? What am I
yeah.
watching? This is so bizarre, but fun. And I am enjoying it. And like, there's so much to think about and talk about. And there's little roles and just, I don't know. It's so funny. The Neil, I
It's
love the Neil centric stuff, but go ahead. Sorry. I'm
no, I
blabbering
just
forever.
I compliment what you said. No, you are talking. I promise you. But the compliment you said, it's so deep for a kids TV program. It's more.
Yeah.
It's deeper than it has any right to be. You think about the we're watching Goonies in space, or we're watching Goonies in space. They're lost. They want to get home. That's kind of like the beginning, the middle, and the end of most Amblin Entertainment stories, right? In the meantime, we kind of speculated correctly, and I keep, I'm going to harp on about this forever and a day, but quite correctly, we speculated that the planet is the MacGuffin.
The X on the treasure map.
We speculated correctly that obviously Space Jude, who I have to say is killing it. I'm loving his expressions. He's really you can tell he's having fun. He's having a lot of fun in that while he's having a laugh. But the fact that he's the bad guy and doesn't give a shit that he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And yet is charming and all of the above is fantastic. But we kind of speculated that he'd be the bad guy. And then episode 4, you get another twist. You get another twist in that, that this planet that the kids come from is somehow it's a myth, it's a legend, it's the planet of infinite treasure and everything else. And it's part of this network of planets that were kind of established by the New Republic. Oh, and they're identical to each other. What's that? Let's split this little nuance into it. It's like, this is clever shit. This is really, really clever stuff.
Yeah, it's opening up a lot of possibilities of like what it's intriguing.
Yeah. It's like, well, why the hell would you have every single civilization identical to each other? And it's like some sort of social experiment. Is there some sort of, I don't know, population control and genetic control? Who knows? But it's a kids' TV program. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Sorry, man. Done that again.
No, that's totally fine. I think that, to your point about like the being deep for a kids show, I think that's one of the big things for me that I'm really appreciating. It's like, you know that I grew up in a house full of kids. My mom babysat for us, but I've seen a lot of kids shows my entire life. And the thing that's always bugged me about the majority of them is it always feels like the pandering. Like it's always an adult wrote a script for a child and they don't know the voice of children, or like it's always got to have some like moral. Like I'm fine with morals and kids in kids shows, but like it always felt very on the nose and pandery. This is so refreshing because it takes the Amblin-esque feeling, but it doesn't rely on like the 80s and 90s tropes where it's like 90% crude and then like 10% just stuff that doesn't like translate to today. But it also doesn't go the other direction where it feels like a kids television show where it feels pandery and like just watered down, like adults writing the narrative for kids. The kids feel natural. They feel like they're allowed to have real emotions. Like I think the Fern and Wim conversation was like, I was not expecting that, like to be that, like you could see that if somebody told you like, hey, they're about to have a deep moment where Fern feels whatever. And it's like, okay, the kids show narrative trope will tell you it's going to go one way. But then it's like, no, it felt real. It's like, no, like, oh, you can't just say I'm the captain and then expect me to make a decision. It's like, what are they?
Well.
What have they been dating for 10 years and they're finally having like a deep conversation?
Yeah.
What is happening? This is so.
Yeah, Wim as well. I mean, like a lot of people, I did not warm to him at the beginning. I thought, what a petulant little shit that should do as you're told. You know, you're going to get a lot of people in a lot of trouble. But now the development that we saw in episode 4 and that kind of conversation just demonstrated a kid that is, yeah. Look at the very clear, not resentment that they were going back, but the disappointment that they were going back to their normal lives.
Yeah,
the guy feels like, I mean, immediately over 4 episodes, you've seen the development of to expose this kid that is bored, doesn't feel particularly loved, I guess, or certainly doesn't have a particularly close relationship with his father. Sorry, and is looking for something, and is hungry for something else. I mean, they're
also sheltered. They're also extremely sheltered and extremely naive. It's like, why would he understand the danger that he's in when they've grown up on a planet that is completely isolated, and he's grown up with these fantasy Jedi novels of like, he's extremely naive. Yes, I find him extremely irritating, but I'm also an adult who, like, I'm not a kid anymore. So I'm like, dude, you're in danger. Stop. Don't push the button. But 12-year-old me would have been like, push the fucking button. Push it. Yeah, let's go on an adventure. What else do you know? And so I think it's irritating because it's real. That's like, Wim did need a win. Like, I will say, he needed a win by the end of that episode. I'm like, when he picked up the big gun, which, first of all, as an adult, completely reckless behavior by all of those adults in that encampment, just letting this kid pick up a whatever.
Yeah, but who cares? It's Star Wars.
Who cares? Who cares? We don't think about it too much. But then, like, after all that, it's like, God, he needs a win, and I feel like they gave him one.
Yeah,
like a humility. It's like, he may be a dumb, brash kid when it comes to just like his recklessness and like lack of fear because he's naive. But when it comes to serious emotional stuff, like, they're giving him some depth of like, no, I'm not just some slapdick kid being like, oh, I'm just a complete mess. And it's like, I should be the captain. It's like, no, it's like he has more depth in him. Hopefully we're going to continue to see that as time moves on.
Yeah. I just think it's great. And I think that, I mean, most valuable player at the moment is, I'm a little bit disappointed that, we haven't seen maybe some the other. I guess it's turning into focus child of the week, but I have to say, Neil this week was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and this amazing story of his vulnerability, his fear, his persona, his lack of courage being his key strength. It's like, and there you go. There's your moral story. There's your ambling tale. Going back to your last point around, it doesn't feel like it's packaged that way. And you're right, it doesn't feel like it's packaged that way. The Amblin stories, or the Amblin formula I'm saying Amblin, but you know what I mean. Anyone that created those kind of movies back in the 80s, it's the kind of disposable film that you shove a kid in front of and you know it's safe, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't say it's a film. They're the type of movies for bad parenting, but it kind of, you know what you're going to get. It's safe. It's really, really easy.
Yeah.
What's great about this is that, yeah, they're using that formula, but they're slipping in all these little nuances and these little twists and the things like, you know, there are children fighting adults. You know, there are something has gone awry here. There's a little bit of, you know, we're introducing a little bit of post-apocalyptic horror into a story of kids trying to get back home.
Well, it's a modern take, but there's also an emotional intelligence to it too.
Yeah, you know, it's spot on, mate. Spot on. Sorry, we're rambling, but keep going, dude.
There does seem to be a lot of thoughts that like it's going to become like a kid's arc of the week, and I do think this week was like a strong one for Neil, because I think Neil needed an episode worth of time to get it through. Like it felt very like Neil finding his way, and people like, oh, I wonder if we're going to get KB's next. And like, for me personally, this is a prediction. I think KB's is kind of going to be a multi-episode one. I think we've already started to see it from the very first episode when she's messing with Fuzzball, and then now with the owl. And like, I think we're going to see her emotional and kind of empathetic arc over the course of the season. I am dead set that like there is, hers is kind of like her arc is kind of in the background a little bit of kind of whatever her, I think it's going to come out when this is all over and they're like, oh, it's an assistive device. Like she has some kind of Star Wars version of a childhood like disability. And whether
her parents do they?
Do what?
Her parents don't have any mechanics or anything.
And they're worried about her like medical life support, her life tracker thing. I'm like, that's what, and they're very like protective, almost overprotective. And that's what made me feel like, oh, it's like a disability thing. And so like they are kind of the trope of like the overprotective parents.
And
so I see her arc kind of going across this season of like showing a strength and maybe whatever it ends up being that her is perceived as her disability. Is her overcoming that and proving that to her parents, and her parents being like, oh my gosh, wow, I can't believe you did that. Like, you are capable, or whatever that trope is. I don't know the proper words to use. I'm trying to like mince my words and like not be whatever, but like people know that trope that I'm talking about. Of like, no, you can't go outside, the bubble boy kind of, like, no, you can't go outside, the germs will get on you. And it's like, actually, they're a lot stronger than you thought they were, kind of thing. I think that's KB's, which I'm really excited to see.
Well, I think it's the conditioning. I mean, the parents, they're also, this is multi-generational conditioning that's been going on. You know, which will probably explain the reason why when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. I mean, look at the rat shit on the planet that we saw yesterday. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like I think their reaction is quite natural if that's what themselves have been through. You know, it's all about what they've been through. But yeah, no, it's amazing, man. I'm going to have to accelerate a little bit if you don't mind, mate. But there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things I wanted to point out, and that's because I haven't had a chance to speak to you about how I feel about this. I mean,
I want to hear it.
First of all, it's exactly what I need right now. There's a couple of things that I did reach out to you on Discord when I found out that Jude Law's character is also known as Crimson Jack. Yep. I actually think you called it out on Hawes's early review as well. It's like my mind exploded, and I was sitting in a waiting room, waiting for an MRI scan, when the name Crimson Jack came out, and I shouted at the top of my voice, "Dude, I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man. And I shouted at the top of my voice, hell yeah, Crimson Jack. Pretty much everyone in that waiting room, all the other patients that were also waiting to have their MRI scans as well, looked at me as if I was a crazy person that should be locked away at that moment in time. But yeah, I fist bumped the air when I heard that name. Fantastic. And I hope they do something with it. I hope it's not just like I hope it's not just a spin away thing, because there's no reason why they can't rewrite Crimson Jack's story. There's no reason why it can't be used as a pseudonym or something like that. But it would be great if they kept that gap. Everything is
maybe even a speedo cameo, maybe, and just the little trunks too. Never know.
Oh yeah. The fact that you never wore pants, that was all quite funny. Second thing I picked up on, and again, this has nothing to do with episode 4, but I heard that Hondo's ship from Galaxy's Edge is spotted in the Pirate Enclave. Unfortunately, I think it was damaged when they escape, when they break the tow cable or the fuel cable. But there is evidence that there is at least a type of ship that could be associated with Hondo. And does that? It's so juicy, man. It's so juicy. These are secondary, tertiary characters that are low risk, and it doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't touch that goddamn Skywalker timeline. It doesn't touch the Solos, the Palpatines, the Skywalkers, the Kenobis. It's just really, really good stuff that they could have a absolute blast messing around with. So there was that. The music. I had it. I've been humming it all day, of course, because we've been talking now for the last hour or so. I can't remember it. But the music in the premiere, I didn't pick up on it that much, but I recommend everyone rewatches it. It just gets better. It gets better and better and better and better, especially when you see each story tying into the next, and you start seeing the development of certain people. Jude in particular, he's anyway. Sorry, but yeah, the pirate music, especially at the end when the credits go out. I love it, absolutely love it. I love all that stuff. Again, very Treasure Planet.
Yes.
And then lastly, the last thing I had was I don't know whether this is on purpose or whether it's just where my mind's at the moment, but everything seems to be coming together in some sort of delicious Star Wars underworld or pirate soup. I've been playing Outlaws, loved every minute of it. You know, I've loved it. I've been watching Skeleton Crew. The other film that I forgot that I've watched since I've got back was Solo. Now I know Solo has an awful lot of there are mixed feelings from various people on Solo on whether it's bad or good. I have to say Solo is fantastic because with this, you know, I'm a space pirate guy now, but with this new attitude I've got, I just flipped on Solo this afternoon. So I had some I have to get out of the way. They're putting some stuff into the house at the moment to help my accessibility for certain things. And I had to stay out of the way. So I came up to the bedroom and I ended up starting watching Solo. And I have to say, it complements Skeleton Crew beautifully. And I will die on that hill. Solo, it's, you know, when you get past the initial, and there's some stuff in there, and Solo. When you get past the cheese and stuff, the minute that you meet up with Dryden Voss and the first back game with Lando, it all blends. The whole thing blends beautifully. And where my head's at, I don't think they'll listen to me. Of course I don't. But I tell you what, where my head's at the moment, it's a perfectly fertile environment of where they can develop Star Wars and take it forward with no risk. again, because it doesn't touch galactic politics. It doesn't touch the sacred text. It doesn't touch canon. It's just a really, really good environment. You can have a lot of fun. Anyway, that's how I feel about Skeleton Crew. And like I said, I was excited when I went in. What I've been through the last couple of weeks, I couldn't think of anything better. I really can't.
That's awesome. I am in the same page, same group.
Excellent. Dude, next week we will be back. And we'll be a little bit more structured because we will. I'm sorry if I've railroaded an awful lot of this week, but
you didn't.
Man, I had a lot to get off my chest. Thank you so much for being my friend. Thank you so much for keeping the pilot light on while I was away. Thank you again, Turbo. Thank you again, everyone that's reached out and given me the best wishes. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you. I love this. This is good for me. And I will catch you next week. Sean, do you want to take us out, mate?
I can. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Andy, for hopping on. This is the jewel of my week. I'm happy to have you back, buddy. If you want to catch us other places, go to our website at justshillin.com, where you can find links to our social media and everything else. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about Skeleton Crew, and I look forward to talking to you next week. And until then,
cheers, guys. Look after yourselves. Listen to your body. Lots of love. Have an amazing Christmas.
If we don't talk to you before then, for sure.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.